When athletes enter like what they call flow state, where it's this heightened peak state performance, and they can almost access what we would consider outside of the realm of our normal capabilities, or people can tap into extraordinary bits of information, or they just have this creative flow that just channels right through them, like their body's this divine vessel to download this information from another source. And what is happening is whenever they enter into these states of consciousness, that energy flows through them. And flow works differently for all of us, but what we have to do is to understand that within our being lies this same capability to tap into this upon will. And I'm going to give you a few tips on how to do that today. So stick with me here, and we will explore how to step into that flow state and what it means for creating the life that you truly wish to live. My name is Cody, and I help people to activate their divine consciousness codes that will ignite their heart ablaze to open the door to limitless possibilities. So flow state is something that we all have the capability of tapping into. But what I want to talk about first is what I have seen in a few other videos, which I will link below, of other resources into tapping into this, but what they call flow proneness. Flow proneness is basically where you allow yourself the potentiality, like you open yourself up to the capabilities by freeing up those that ability within yourself, by basically submerging yourself into an altered or heightened state of consciousness through some sort of deprivation or immersion within something. So there's I've heard of like Aubrey Marcus immerging himself and doing like this darkness basically where you don't have any light at all for like 5 to 7 days. So he would enter into these altered states of consciousness, because if you think about it, there's at no point, at least that I can think of, unless which hopefully you're not trapped in a closet all day, but where you are deprived of light, and even if you are in a room, there's normally even a little bit of light coming in from some source, a window or the doorway, whatever it is. So there's that. There's the ice baths, which really I've heard activates basically like 3 times the amount of dopamine that you normally would have, because of the I don't know, it does something to the body. It's like this, and Wim Hof has really made it famous because he's been able to tap into heightened, what we would consider superhuman capabilities, by being able to go into icy cold water and even be able to climb fucking mountains in shorts. It's crazy, the abilities that we have once we understand what we are capable of. And he was tapping into a type of flow state, this type of consciousness where he's activated within himself. So he was able to tap into these altered states of consciousness simply by immersing himself into this ice water, or these ice baths. And actually I did a lot of ice baths whenever I was in college playing college football, which I only did for like 3 months. But whenever we were doing summer training camp, that's what we would do right after we would get done. We would get into the ice baths to help our bodies to open up and be able to basically activate latent potential within our bodies, because you have to like breathe into it. It really brings you into your body. And I think that's one of the biggest things that it does. And also one of the things that I enjoy doing most is fasting, because for me, food has been a huge source of dopamine for me. And as a result, it has caused my dopamine centers to become imbalanced. And when they become imbalanced, those dopamine reward centers, it makes it difficult for us to do and accomplish anything in our lives, to strive for goals, to hold ourselves accountable, to meet deadlines and show up when we say we're going to show up, because we're already getting this external sense of dopamine in our lives. We're already activating that within us, and but we use it as a way to distract ourselves. And even, we do it with relationships, we do it with obviously with television and games. We do it with these things that help numb our minds and take us out of the ability to tap into this flow state, because we are immersing ourselves into the world, the fantasy world of something else. So I want to go back to flow proneness. Flow proneness can be activated by doing things that will heighten your dopamine capabilities. And I've talked in the past of things that give us dopamine, and deprivation of using those things for extended periods of time will heighten our ability to activate those reward centers in our brain. And whenever we are able to activate that within ourselves, that dopamine, that true dopamine within our bodies, instead of the false dopamine that we receive from food or caffeine or some sort of, or a drug, some sort of stimulant, whatever it may be, Adderall. Once we become dependent on these things, our bodies stop producing the necessary dopamine necessary to get things done on its own accord. So we become dependent on these things, and it's almost like, it feels like we are entering an altered state, or like a flow state, but it's unnatural. It's an unnatural flow state that we can only essentially tap into with an external source to help us to tap into it. But it's not a true flow state, because what it really is it's spiking our dopamine rewards, and that gives us the sense of being able to step into it, because and especially I struggle a lot with procrastination and putting things off, and being overwhelmed with getting things done, or like I just have like a billion to-do lists, things that I want to get done, but hardly any of them ever get done, because my dopamine reward centers are all fucked up because of years and years of programming that has caused my reward centers to be completely thrown off and out of whack. So what I've had to do in my adult life, and especially in the recent weeks and months, has been to pull back and to create new cycles, to break what Joe Dispenza calls in his, what one of his books is called, breaking the habit of being yourself. And it's all about changing our habits, changing our brain chemistry, changing the structure of how we perceive and see our lives, and how we activate and operate, to start to shift ourselves and shift our beliefs and shift the things that we do, in order to tap into a new consciousness, or to be able to step into a new version of ourselves. Because the only way that we can create true change in our lives is to first change within ourselves, to change the beliefs that we have, to change the thoughts that we have, the words that we speak, because words are spelling that create our reality. So what we want to do is we want to alter those things in a way that gears us towards the direction that we want to go. So whenever we enter into these flow states of consciousness, we're basically almost in a way like, I don't want to say, it's almost like a time warp, because we are stepping into a new state of consciousness for ourselves, that we are pulling information in without even thinking about it, without even any thoughts. They're just flowing through us. Once we activate the ability to receive, and we open ourselves up to receive these things by depriving ourselves or immersing ourselves in certain stimulus, then it's going to open up the ability, or the proneness, to activate these states of consciousness within ourselves. And by fasting for me and doing a dopamine detox, that has really helped, because it has shown me how dependent I have become on certain things. And even the following days afterwards, I could feel myself, the energy that I have, and the ability to focus and think clearly like I couldn't ever before. And actually, I've stepped into new states of consciousness within the past few months that I've never been able to step into before. It's this new territory that I'm coming to understand, that evolves as we evolve, and we learn to tap into this in our own way. We learn to tap into this in a certain sequence. It's almost like a code that has to be activated within ourselves sometimes, that we have to go through these experiences that will open us up to experience these things. But what is important is that we are following what feels right to us, like what feels right in our gut, in our hearts, and aligning ourselves with that decision, asking our body and our mind as one whole unified being, if that feels right, if that aligns. And what I like to consider whenever we are making any important decision is, how does it really feel? Does it feel light, or does it feel heavy? Light or heavy? Because the decisions that we ultimately need to make for our soul are going to feel light. And sometimes we are going to have to make decisions that are mixed. They're very much, they feel, there's like, and I've struggled with this a lot in my life at times, at pivotal moments in your journey. And for me, it's been, cutting certain things out that I didn't want to let go of, or changing habits that I didn't necessarily want to change, but I knew that I needed to, because it's not about what you want, it's about what you need if you wish to align yourself to the life that you wish to truly live, and to become who you came here to become. It's all about what it truly is that you want, and feel that in your heart. Feel that burning within you. Feel that in your heart and soul, and understand that it's not about what it is that you are searching for. It's about who you become in the process, and aligning yourself with your highest values, and being able to tap into these states of consciousness and achieve the dream vision that you have. It's important to be able to tap into these flow states. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is the dopamine reward centers were initially designed for us to have that sense of reward feedback whenever we achieve something, or we accomplish, we go out and we hunt and we're able to get our prey. Then it gives us that feedback, that spike of motivation and energy. It's like it boosts us because we were able to accomplish something that we set out to and strive to achieve. So whenever we do something like a ice bath or a fast or something that pushes us, what it does, it pushes us to our edge. And when it pushes us to our edge, that opens the availability, the bioavailability for us to tap into those flow states, that flow proneness. It opens that area within us, and for us to be able to tap into, because suddenly we are able to have that reward center be activated by actually achieving something that we set out to do. And being able to follow through with these things is a big part of being able to step into this. And that's a big reason why people procrastinate. That's a big reason why I've struggled with it so much. It's because that those dopamine centers being so overloaded, you don't get the same satisfaction whenever you do complete something. Like you do clean up a room, or you do complete a project, or you do fulfill something, or you follow through on something that you set out to achieve, or you set out to create. you don't get the same feedback whenever you're so overloaded, or you're burnt out, or you're just overwhelmed with all the possibilities. So whenever you do and you complete a task like a fast or an ice bath submersion, or I've seen people do like silent retreats where you don't talk for 10 days. The darkness thing that I was talking about with Audrey Marcus has a video about it. You can do all these different things that will allow you to basically pull yourself out of your normal state of consciousness so that you can open and access different states of dormant and latent information hidden within you, because they are essentially, think about it like this. Whenever you push yourself to your edge, it activates something within us that is only achievable in those states of consciousness. And I believe whenever people enter these altered flow states, it's a similar type of thing. So whenever you are entering these flow states, you're essentially pushing towards what is, in a similar way, towards that brink of death. At least your body perceives it in a similar way, and you start to activate different states of consciousness that will allow you to tap into these things. And we begin to progress towards that by completing these challenges and building ourselves up one step at a time. And as you begin to evolve and you begin to work through and complete these challenges, you are more able to continue to carry that momentum forward. And you start to develop the confidence in yourself to be able to complete and follow through with things. You start to be able to commit to yourself. You start to be able to commit to other people and plans. And you start to commit to achieving the goals that you set out to achieve. But whenever we become so overloaded, it becomes difficult because there's not that feedback for us to be able to have that balanced give and play. So it takes us out of our ability to tap into that. And what I encourage you to do is to try something, like I mentioned, cutting back on using something and replacing it with a creative means or something that will allow you to tap into that ability, to tap into something, an altered state that will open you up in a creative way so that you can give your gift back to the world. Yeah, so give it a shot, see if it works for you, try it on, see if it fits. Everything works in different ways for everybody. So, for me, fasting is something that I've found works, especially if you struggle with dopamine as a food, as a source to escape or to give you that sense of comfort. Maybe just do a social media detox even. I'll go through periods of that where I'll delete all social media apps from my phone. Or sometimes if I really want to go extreme, I'll deactivate my account temporarily, which you can still bring it back up whenever you really want to. But if you really want to go extreme, you can full out delete it. I haven't gone to that extreme yet, but that's also an option. So just cutting certain things out of your life for temporary periods. If you struggle, if you watch 4 hours of shows on Netflix a night, maybe cut it back to 2 and focus that other 2 hours on something else, or those 2 hours to tap into these altered states, to be able to be present with yourself and be present with what it is that you truly wish to create and inside of you, like what it truly is that your heart is longing for. What is it that you wish to create, and what is it that you wish to give your gift back to put your gift and your presence and your passion, where do you wish to direct that? Tapping into these flow states will give you the ability to. So let me know how it works for you, and what other methods that you do to tap into that. I would love to hear it, because I'm trying out all kinds of different things to see what works, what doesn't, And I make various videos of the different techniques and things that I try to see what works, so that you can try it on for yourself. See, just see what resonates with you. Ultimately, that's what it's all about: is aligning ourselves with the life and the vision and the purpose and the people that we want to connect to and with. So I'm so grateful for you, my friends, being on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, share with anybody that you feel like it would help. Like I said, comment down below if you have any other ideas or things that would help, because I'm sure it would help other people as well to tap into that. And I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you. Take care, my friends. Peace, love, and namaste.